Are you planning your vacation?
No, I'm going to Greece with
Oh,
Carl.
that's right.
Yeah.
Good.
With Carlson? Oh, I didn't know that.
All right,
Is
we
your
will
niece-
go ahead and call the
Yes,
meeting to
that's
order, and we will start with roll call.
Cox,
Here.
Crampton,
Yeah, here.
Griswold,
Here.
Mercer,
Here.
Johnson,
Here.
Slavin, Robertson.
Here.
Okay, we can all stand and we'll say the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome, everybody. We'll move on to the approval of the agenda.
I move to approve the agenda as presented.
Support.
Mercer,
Yes.
Robertson,
Yes.
Griswold,
Yes.
Slavin,
Yes.
Cox,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Crampton.
Yes.
All right, on to item 3. Is there anybody in the audience will public discussion for items not on the agenda? I see no hands. So we will move on to number 4. Is there anybody with public discussion for items that are on the agenda? I see no hands, so we'll move on to the action agenda.
Motion to receive and file action agenda. A, council minutes from January 7, 2026, and B, accounts payable.
Support.
Griswold,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Robertson,
Yes.
Slavin,
Yes.
Cox,
Yes,
Mercer,
Yes.
Crampton.
Yes.
alrighty. We'll move right into the reports from the city officials, and we'll start with the police department, Chief Kraus.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. A couple items on the agenda for my department tonight. First one will be the monthly report for the month of December. During December, we responded to 377 incidents, resulting in 12 custodial arrests, and we issued 40 traffic tickets during the month. So I would ask for a motion to accept and file the police activity report for the month of December 25, dated January 26.
Motion? I'll make that motion.
Second.
Robertson,
Yes.
Slavin,
Yes.
Cox,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Mercer,
Yes.
Griswold,
Yes.
Crampton.
Yes.
The next item on the agenda is a request to sell the 2015 Explorer. We no longer have need for it since we've acquired the new 2025 Explorer. The sale would be through a sealed bid process. I'm asking for a minimum bid of $4,000 at this time. If for some reason we don't receive any at $4,000, come back to council with a request to put it out there at a lower price. We've done this traditionally in the past. We put it out in front of DPW with the details on it and a big for sale sign. We usually do pretty well. So I'd ask for a motion to authorize the sale of the 2015 Ford Explorer with a minimum bid of $4,000.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Question, what is the useful age of that Explorer?
I'm sorry?
What is the useful age of that Explorer? I know you said
Well,
2015.
It all depends. A lot of the guys that picked them up use them for a winter car, or they're shade tree mechanics. They work on them themselves and stuff like that. It's still a very safe vehicle. It's just we no longer need it. I can't give you a specific. Certain some people will run forever, but I mean the engine itself is in good shape. It could run at least another 30-50,000 miles, I would think.
Okay, thank you.
Chief, how many miles does it have on it?
It's about 115, 120, ballpark-ish. All right, thank you.
Crampton,
Yes.
Cox,
Yes.
Griswold,
Yes.
Slavin,
Yes.
Mercer,
Yes.
Robertson,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Thank you, Mayor and Council.
Thank you.
All right, we will move on to the fire department, Chief Mercer.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I just have 2 items. The first is a request. It was brought to the attention of the community center director, myself, and city administrator about an AED for the community center itself. So it's a request to purchase that through the community center budget. The department would then just kind of give a training to all the employees there on how to use it. It's an automatic one, just like you see in airports and everywhere else, so that it would prompt anybody else running the facility how to use it. There is a fundraiser that somebody started online to try to defer some of the cost of it. So whatever funds are raised through that fundraising online would defer the cost, would come back and defer the cost of that. The total is $1,100 from AED Professionals. So that includes a case, a hanging case for the wall itself, and then just kind of a general supply stuff, some one-way masks, and gloves, and a couple other items that are needed, just to kind of have with it in the unit itself.
Motion to approve AED purchase of 1,100 from AED Professionals.
Support.
What is the life on the, is it 2-year lithium batteries in those, or what is the life on the battery?
Yeah, they're at least 2 years.
2 years.
I think it lasts.
And then you replace them, right?
Correct, yeah, and then they're all, I mean, they're, even if it's used, they're still,
Yeah,
it can still have it.
okay,
I mean,
every 2 years
obviously
you
it's-
mandatory replace?
No, not necessarily.
No?
No, they can still last.
That was my question, was to get clarification on the expiration, of the unit. If the unit doesn't expire, just the batteries and then maybe the pads?
It will eventually go out of service in probably 10 years or so. I mean, they've got a pretty long shelf life. It's basically, the unit will last as long as they still produce batteries for them
Okay.
and pads.
And
So the
then-
pads also expire after.
And then can you speak to training on that module, what that might look like for, I guess, the community center director or?
It's basically, we've got a trainer here that we use that's gonna be similar.
Okay.
It's basically just showing them where to put the pads and turning it on.
Sure.
It's all voice prompt. It'll tell you, I mean, there's pictures on the pads themselves on where to put it on the chest, and then it tells you, it walks you through the entire process.
Is there a, like this, the other place where I work at, they turn them on and test them every, I think it's 2 or 3 months, just to make sure, is there a procedure that we are gonna do to?
We can set that up.
All right.
I mean, they run a self-check.
Yeah.
They're designed to run self-checks every
Right,
day.
right, okay.
But yes, we can.
Yeah, that's what I was
set
gonna
up.
ask, was about checking and inspecting it.
Okay. Oh, one
I've
more.
already talked to several of you about this. I was just surprised this was being presented by the fire chief. I've been assured by the fire chief, the mayor, and the city administrator, this is not coming out of the fire budget. I just wondered why it wasn't in the community budget. Since it's not coming out of the fire budget, I'll be voting yes. That was odd to me that he was presenting it. But it's not coming out of the fire budget.
It's not coming out of the fire budget.
Correct.
Yeah.
Did we have a second?
Yes, we did.
Yes, we did, yep.
Slavin,
Yes.
Griswold,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Robertson,
Yes.
Crampton,
Yes.
Merker,
Yes.
Cox.
Yes.
Okay, the second item I have is just a request to pay Dundee Fire Safety Inc. for $723.95. They do our annual fire extinguisher checks for the department and also City Hall. And there was a CO2 extinguisher that was found to be out of date, and out of date is, we've got some that are 25 years old, so the unit that was being replaced is quite old. So that was a bulk of that purchase. That was $409, or basically $500, $499.95. So just a request to pay that invoice.
Motion to pay Dundee Fire and Safety of the amount of $723.95 for the annual service and replacement of the CO2 fire extinguisher.
Support that.
Johnson,
Yes.
Crampton,
Yes.
Merker,
Yes.
Cox,
Yes.
Griswold,
Yes.
Robertson,
Yes.
Slavin.
Yes.
Okay, that's all I have unless there's any questions. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to the treasurer's report. Treasurer McCoy.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I have just one item tonight, and it is the quarterly report that I would like to put on file, if anybody has any questions.
No, I would just like to thank you for including this. This is nice to see this in the packet. Thanks.
It has been incredibly informative.
Motion to approve quarterly report ending December 31st, 2025.
Support.
Griswold,
Yes.
Robertson,
Yes.
Crampton,
Yes.
Merker,
Yes.
Cox,
Yes.
Slavin,
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we don't have a clerk's report tonight. So we will move on to the Department of Public Works. Director Boron.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I got a couple things on the agenda. First one, we had some trees at Lezat Park, about 70 foot. Both of them tipped over and were leaning over the pavilion. I had to get somebody out and do emergency and get them cut down for the amount of $3,000 requesting to pay. It was a safety issue, too big for me to handle.
So motion to approve Little Masters Tree Service for fallen trees at Lezat Park for an amount of $3,000.
Support.
Is this go ahead, please. Is this the company that typically services Rockwood? Is it the gentleman?
He's
with the red
always the
truck?
lowest bidder, yep. When
Okay.
he comes through, I called 2 guys, they said it'd be a week, and he said I can be out tomorrow, so I said, they didn't fall all the way, they were stuck on a branch, and I can't put my arms around them, and
Oh.
it was right over Lezat Park, it would have fell on pavilions.
How quickly would
Or
they
the
be able to
Playscape.
act and take care of that?
It was the next day.
Okay.
When I called him, he said, I'll be
Okay,
there.
that's good. Because I was thinking like, okay, we got some really nasty winter coming
Yep.
right in.
They have done lots of service in the city, correct? Is that what you're asking, Marcia?
Yeah, is that the gentleman that typically does?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Same question.
You guys are second on the record.
Yes.
Yep.
Any more?
Did I answer? Did I?
You had the same question?
Okay, all right.
Crampton,
Yes.
Cox,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Robertson,
Yes.
Griswold,
Yes.
Slavin,
Yes.
Mercury.
Yes.
And the second item I have is request for permission to sell my 2009 Ford F-250 with the plow. As you see, my new one finally come in.
So motion to allow the sale of the 2009 Ford F-250 with plow.
I'll support that. I just had a couple questions on the clarification on your request. How do you plan to market or sell it? Are you gonna just sit it in front? like
From the shop,
typical?
we get a lot of
Okay.
traffic by the expressway, and I'm gonna start off at 5,000.
That was my next question.
Okay.
Okay.
If,
Okay.
if I don't get it, then, try a little lower. It's got the plow, it's 4-wheel drive, and hopefully we get it.
Seems like perfect timing.
Yeah. She's been a good truck, she's getting tired.
Hey, Bobby, are there trees down in Merker Park?
Ooh, there's 2 junk ones fell down, and one other one got hit, Memorial Tree.
Okay, I was just, somebody. had
And we got
told me.
that, we're working on that.
Okay,
Somebody was out there playing. It wasn't like they just ran them over. They're out there blowing donuts and hit one.
okay.
Okay. Do we have a second? We're good.
Cox,
Yes.
Slavin,
Yes.
Crampton,
Yes.
Mercury,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Griswold,
Yes.
Robertson.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Alrighty, we will move on to the consideration items. And we will call our city assessor up, Mrs. Comer. This is for the 2026 hardship application and guidelines.
Good evening, everybody. So just standard per state law, we're required to have a hardship application. The state updated their federal guidelines, and so we updated, the only thing that really changed was the income threshold. So we had to update the 100% income threshold to match the current federal poverty guidelines. And then our 50% threshold is 30% higher than that.
And what is that? What is the threshold now?
Here's a copy if you'd like.
Okay.
And while she's looking at that,
Mm-hmm.
the federal guidelines, is that, just to clarify for our residents, is that a requirement or a suggested number?
So the number from the federal is the number you can't go below.
Okay.
So it is a very low number. If you are making under that amount, you need assistance.
Okay.
And so it really is a very, very low threshold to qualify for like 100% hardship exemption. So what that does, it exempts you from all of the millage rates. I don't believe it exempts you from the trash or like drain fees,
Okay.
but everything else I believe it exempts from. So,
I have many questions.
okay.
It's nice to help people who think they need help.
Mm-hmm.
But there's another side to this. If they're not going to pay their assessed proportion, either somebody else is going to have to reach in their pockets to make up the difference, or the city's not gonna have as much money to do things. I think individual charity is nice, and some religions require it. I do not like government telling people that the government's going to force somebody else to be charitable. Now, I've been told, and you sort of implied, that there are either federal or state laws that require this.
Yes.
My first question is, if this is required, why are we voting? What are we approving? If it's a required, we don't have to vote to ratify federal and state law. Now, I've been given some indication that it may be not cut and dry, that there is some give and take, that the board that you sit on has certain criteria which may be more than what state and federal require. And therefore, I would go back to, if people want to give charity out of their own pockets, that's wonderful. But I'm not comfortable as a federal or as a city employee to tell somebody else they have to give charity out of their pocket.
So unfortunately, we have to do this per state law. I am audited on that. Our city is audited on that. That was just on our last audit. Do we have guidelines for this exemption, and are we fulfilling them? And so we cannot have anything that is below the federal poverty limit. However, anything else within the law, there is some flexibility. So you can offer a 100% exemption, a 75% exemption, a 50% exemption, and a 25% exemption. And you can have income thresholds all the way in whatever direction you want under those guidelines. These are the guidelines that the Board of Review recommended last year, the income. And so that's what we were using per their recommendation. And so the things we can change is like the asset test. I believe on the asset test, I think we've got it at like 30,000. I'd have to look at it. But there are things we can alter within the guidelines and rules, but we have to have the program. There's no option there. Otherwise, we're out of compliance with state law.
So there is discretion.
Sure.
So
That's why I'm asking for approval of these guidelines and income thresholds.
And I would be voting no because I don't think government employees should be telling citizens that they have to give charity out of their pocket.
I don't have anything to say beyond I have to follow the state law, so thank you.
Are you saying there's basically a minimum that you have to
So,
provide, but the
if
city
we-
could modify that upwards from the minimum? Like they could make a higher?
Yeah, and so that's why
threshold?
the 50% threshold was for people who are more in line what poverty looks like in the city as opposed to what poverty looks like at a federal level. And so those people who are still at that 30% higher threshold, which I believe is about 20,000, a little over 20,000, and that's for one individual in the home.
Right.
And so if people qualify under that amount, they would qualify for a 50% reduction in their tax burden. And so if we wanted to get rid of that, you could do that if you'd like. I haven't seen a lot. I personally haven't seen any real fraud or anything like that in this community. The people who have been coming are people who need it. They have to submit their taxes, they have to submit their bank statements. We have a whole threshold of requirements, and everyone's been very transparent as far as I can tell. And so I haven't really seen a lot of waste, fraud, or abuse in this area, in this community, so.
Well, hopefully you haven't seen any.
Any more questions?
Good. Any questions? Okay.
And then also before we vote, I just wanted to mention again, we are a member short on our Board of Review. We desperately need a third member because right now we only have two. If someone can't make it, we don't have a quorum and we're not meeting our state requirements of having a Board of Review. That is all property owners' right to be able to appeal and to be able to correct errors and to do what we need to do in assessing. So if anyone knows anyone who would be interested in the board, please recommend them to come speak with us. They meet twice in March, once in July, once in December, and they have to take a training course every other year. That's it. It's very low requirement threshold, and we greatly need someone.
Thank you. How long has that seat been vacant for?
Over the past 6 months now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe the city can post something on the online or something like
We
that.
have posted, so
It is
just
posted, yeah.
putting it out there again as
Okay.
much as I can until we find somebody.
Okay,
Yep.
great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, great.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yep. There was a second, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No?
No, no,
Oh.
no, motion.
Gotta make a
Oh,
motion.
the motion, I'm sorry, okay.
All right, motion to appoint drama,
Nope.
no, I'm on the wrong
Nope,
one.
you're on the wrong one.
Oh, gosh, sorry about that.
Okay.
The hardship, motion to approve the updated hardship exemption application and guidelines for the 2026 tax year.
Support.
Cox,
Yes.
Crampton,
Yes.
Griswold,
Yes.
Mercury,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Slavin,
No.
Robertson.
Yes.
Okay, vote passed. We will move on to consideration item B, which is a housing commission appointment. And this is a motion to appoint Drema Reed to the housing commission for the term of January 21st, 2026 through November 30th of 2030, as recommended by Jasmine Martin, who is the deputy director of the Rockwood Housing Commission. This appointment will fill the final vacant position on that housing commission.
I'll make that motion.
I'll support it.
Mercury,
Yes.
Robertson,
Yes.
Griswold,
Yes.
Slavin,
Yes.
Cox,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Crampton.
Yes.
Okay. We will move on to the administrator's report, Mrs. Trush.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. The first item that I have on the agenda is for our online and credit card services for payments for the city. Last year, we had talked about looking at some other vendors, BSNA, which is who all our financial assessing tax software all goes through. They now offer an integrated payment system. I sat through a demo of it. It will make our process much more efficient. We are currently almost at our 60 days for our renewal for our current point and pay contract. So I'm asking council to approve moving to the BSNA integrated payment system, and then I will give point and pay notice of 60 days.
I'll make that motion.
I'll support it.
I just have a couple questions. The cost previously, is that what's indicated on this page here? Because I didn't see, you said the price was comparable. Can you tell me what the price was as previous? It says residents pay 2.8%, and then to the right it says $3 per transaction. I know there's one that's comparing and contrasting the credit card and the ACH, but
For BSNA?
yes.
So I don't have all the exact figures because there's so many different types of transactions. So across the whole spectrum of transactions, there's fractions of different in percentages in the cost. So a regular like credit card payment, we are currently paying 3%. So now it'll be 2.8. So across the whole spectrum of payments, the cost is almost identical to what the residents are currently paying for point and pay.
Okay,
I mean, I could-
so the cost will decrease for the residents?
So if it's a regular credit card payment, yes.
Okay.
There are like e-payments, ACH payments, so there's a lot of different types of payments. They all offer a very similar rate to each other. I could
Okay.
have,
Yeah,
write them all down, but they are very similar. Like I said, only fractions of a percentage off for the different types of transactions.
And then I guess my question, was there, when you were looking through this, was there an option that did not put a cost on the residents to pay online billing?
The only option would be if the city paid for it.
Okay.
So it means it is a service being provided, so it has to be paid for.
Okay.
Yeah, if people don't want to pay the fee, obviously we still take check or cash. That is free of charge.
Right, and then the difference in, I guess, reliability or access, it's the same then? So they'll still continue to log on
The
as they
portal will
normally
look
would?
a little different because the vendor is different, but it will still be going to the city website where there will be a payment option, and it'll just direct to the BSNA payment site instead of point and pay. There's also some nice features as far as being able to send out late notices on water bills through this program. So, we only pay water bills every quarter. 2 weeks before a water bill is due, there will be an option if we have an email to send out additional notices. So there are some upgraded features because of the integrated system.
So
Yeah.
overall, is everything coming on this? It looked like there's a break a little bit less on all of it. Is it
On
overall on all of it that way?
On the standard credit card charge, yes.
Yeah,
So-
I mean,
Which
without,
is typically what we see happening
Sure.
with the online payments.
So we see the typical resident will see about the same or very slightly less than what they were previously being charged.
Typically, yes, that is.
It's also giving us a couple extra tools to use.
Yeah,
in the
that's
system.
yeah.
Right.
On
The
the
integrated
city
system
side.
will
yes.
save man hours having to try to balance
And
online
also
payments.
reduce errors, which nobody likes seeing.
yeah, I'd like to see the breakdown of the price before I vote yes, but it'll be a no vote for me, but
Just to summarize, it's my understanding, the office or the city manager tells me that this is a better system and it costs the city nothing.
Correct, it costs the city
Yes.
nothing, correct.
Yeah.
but my question was, what does it cost the residents? Yeah.
I actually had a slightly related question: is how long has our overall contract been with BSNA?
We've had BSNA for, 20 plus years.
Okay.
In 2012, our financial software went from Cassell, which is ran through Civic Systems, to BSNA because it's more efficient to run all the systems together.
Yes.
So the financial software used to be separate from the building, assessing, and tax software and payroll software. And in 2012, it all got integrated together.
And it sounds like this will be one more step to make it even more seamless.
Sure. That's my hope.
Okay, any other questions, concerns? Okay.
Griswold,
No,
Johnson,
Yes.
Robertson,
Yes.
Slavin,
Yes.
Cox,
Yes,
Mercer,
Yes.
Cranford.
Yes.
okay. That passed.
The next item, as stated in the memo, back in the fall, our engineering company did their PACER study, road study, so they went out and they have this machine that tests all the roads for road conditions and they rate them. The study has come back and we included in what was provided shows the status of all of our roads. To be in compliance and to continue to be eligible for Act 51 funds and we have to approve an asset management plan. So what was presented from the engineers is the asset management plan that they recommend for 2026 through 2028.
Motion to approve the 2026-2028 assessment management plan as presented.
Support.
could you just clarify for me who the street administrator is? Is that?
That's Ohio.
DP Okay.
He was appointed and approved as the street administrator.
Okay.
Robertson,
Yes.
Slavin,
Yes.
Cox,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Mercer,
Yes.
Griswold,
Yes.
Cranford.
Yes.
The third item is the City Hall, Police Department, and wastewater treatment portion of the safety inspection on the fire extinguishers from Dundee Fire and Safety. The amount is $677.45. So this is taken out of the general fund, but also out of the wastewater treatment fund.
Okay, motion to approve $677.45 to Dundee Fire and Safety, Inc. for the annual fire extinguisher inspections.
Support.
Cranford,
Yes.
Cox,
Yes.
Griswold,
Yes.
Slavin,
Yes.
Mercer,
Yes.
Robertson,
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
And the last item are second quarter budget amendments. Some of these are just line item transfers, which means we are, just as the year has progressed, there has been some expenditures that potentially could change the amount of the budget by year end. So some of it is just taking just our money from one expense, moving it to the other. We do have 2 items, one in the fire department. Chief Mercure has talked about the micro grant that we've gotten from FEMA for $35,000. So we need to recognize not only the revenue, but the offsetting expense for that grant so that we can accept it and then spend it when we get the funds. And then the other item was a $10,420 bill for a unexpected repair at the wastewater treatment plant. That was reimbursed by our operating services. The city had to pay it due to it being an emergency, but we have already received the funds back from operation services for that bill. So it's just recognizing the expense and the revenue, offsetting revenue for that expense also.
That's zero.
It's not zero, but it does increase the bottom line expense.
I'd like to make that motion.
I'll support it.
I just had a question on if you can clarify, because I'm looking and maybe I'm not reading this correctly. So in the 2025 original, there's a dollar amount. If you go down, say 5 line items, you'll see an original dollar amount. And then the amended is the same dollar amount, and then there's a change noted. I'm not really sure what that means.
Because the budget hasn't been amended yet, so currently right now, the original and the amended budget are equal.
Oh, okay, so after
So
it's approved,
if
then it
you,
will be.
after you get approved, the amended amount will change.
Okay, then it will be reflected. Okay, thank
Yes.
you for the clarification
Yep.
on that.
Slavin,
Oh, yes.
Griswold,
Yes.
Robertson,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Crampton,
Yes.
Merkier,
Yes.
Cox.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Okay. And we are now to the moment where everybody's been waiting for, on the attorney's report.
Everyone got a copy of the proposed draft of the backyard chicken ordinance. I know you haven't had a chance to look through it in detail. I tried to put in there what we talked about at the workshop, along with just some other standard provisions. What I would propose today is that just so you have it to read through it, and post it on the city website so the residents can take a look at it, and then if they want to respond to council or to the mayor, compile some of those, not necessarily responses to me. I don't need whether they want it or not, but whether you want to change in the number of chickens, the offsets, things like that we never really agreed at the meeting of what those offsets would be or sizes would be. So it'd be more changing if there was a change to that. And then at the, any changes I can incorporate, and then at the next council meeting, we can, go through with either a first reading of it and publication of a final one. I don't think we want to do it now because, like I said, I know no one's had a chance to really look through those numbers and question it, or if there was any provision that you thought may need to be added to it. Again, I'm not a chicken expert, so I don't really know all those things. So if anyone has any comments, like I said, I would say it's probably best to send it to the mayor or to the administrator, and then forward them on to me so I can make those changes. That way we have kind of a complete one that can be looked at, voted on at that time.
As the mayor and I have already discussed, and you told me this would be the time, I'd like to make a motion that we decide to allow chickens in the city, period. And therefore change all of our ordinances to comply with that.
I'd like to second that motion, and I'd also like to note that I'm shocked to see a 3-page ordinance. That definitely wasn't what I had in mind when I said we should allow people to do what they want on their property under certain circumstances that are 3 pages long. So I'm shocked to see that. I didn't realize that it was going to be, nitty gritty. So
Yeah, sounds like a lot of regulation.
So I support the motion.
And what was the motion?
That we simply have an ordinance, or we don't, I'm not gonna put it in terms of, that we simply decide that if people wanna have chickens, they can have chickens, and we will therefore change our ordinances to conform to that. And since we already have a second, I'd like to at least say something about this. I start with the basic proposition that we have a certain amount of freedoms and liberties. And those should not be set aside. Sometimes they have to. We cannot just have chaos. Sometimes we need rules. But we have to be very cautious about it, and we have to know that these are necessary. Just because there's a complaint somewhere doesn't mean the government ought to be making rules. Just because something might happen, that doesn't mean we should be having rules. People should generally be able to do what they want to do. In addition, I'm personally a capitalist free market person. To allow people to have chickens means increased prosperity, greater food supply, increased GNP. Now, I don't expect, I think, as I said to the mayor, this is in some ways a very minor issue, because most people don't care one way or the other. Most people are not going to raise chickens. If my proposition goes through, we're not going to have a sudden chickens all and everything. It's a very small issue, but I think it's a big principle, and a complicated principle, as our attorney's proposal shows. And I just think until we have a concrete problem, not just a complaint, we should just stay out of it.
Just a comment on my, so at this point I would vote no to make it, because I still think we're early in the ordinance. I know there's the House bill through Michigan. I was kind of hoping we can be in line with that, the House bill number 4049 and 4050. I know we just started talking about chickens. I think we have a lot to learn as a city, since we've never allowed them before that I'm aware of.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just my point. At this point, I would vote no until we really understand the effects of the chickens and how this ordinance is gonna, the final ordinance and how it's gonna be implemented.
But I think the House bills are indicating that chickens should be a part of backyard chickens. It's promoting that. And so what Mr. Slavin is saying is it matches up with the House bill.
Well, it as written. So one of the things I had that I'd like to see in there is lot size. So in the House bill from the state, minimum lot size would be 1/4 of an acre minimum to even consider having chickens.
Mm-hmm.
So the House bill has stipulations with it.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So
And your proposal is no stipulations at all, is that correct? Okay, great.
I would
See,
say I'm leaning toward what you're saying too.
but I'm all for freedom, just like you said. And just like you also said, there's stipulations and rules for reasons also. There's ordinances that we don't let your grass grow 2-3 feet in your yard. There's ordinances why we don't let your dogs bark after 10 o'clock at night. I think same thing with chickens is we've talked about all kinds of different things. And I think that people can have chickens, I'm fine with that, but I also think there probably does need to be a couple stipulations. I'm not saying there needs to be 4 pages of stipulations, but I think a couple things we probably should be talked through.
Yes.
So I'm inclined to vote no also, until we would discuss all that. But I don't have a problem with people having chickens. I just think there needs to be some stipulations with it also.
Agreed.
Yeah, and also like I say, it does seem like to even try to push it in one meeting seems to be a bit of a rush that I'm pretty sure that even a lot of the residents didn't really have much of an opinion, but even if they felt kind of inclined towards it, because if you ask them a yes or no, do you support this, and they said yes, I'm pretty sure that maybe not many of them thought that it would come through as a sudden quick, hard, this is the rule.
Right, and again, I'm all for everybody doing whatever they want in their own yard, but I don't buy the argument of government telling you what to do, because they tell you what to do all the time. When you build your shed, you have to have so many plans. When you build your garage, you have to have so many plans. There's rules in place in the city for safety reasons, for a lot of different reasons. So it goes along the same premise as that.
And I would just like to piggyback off of what you said. although we just received the copy of this ordinance, I don't feel like this has been rushed through. In fact, I feel like this has kind of been drug out. We've had a workshop, we've talked about on this at almost ad nauseum. So in my opinion, I don't think it's rushed. The only thing that we have not had a chance to look over is the ordinance, but given the motion, that wouldn't require looking over that, so.
I just feel like it's a big deal and that we should take our time and actually get through it and be agreeing on it. I haven't had a chance to really look over any of it or to really get discussion on it, so I honestly think we do need to take our time, especially on something important that involves everyone here and as a resident.
Even if the residents didn't feel strongly about it yet, because by my recollection, when we asked residents to come up and actually speak on it, we had a grand total of 1 speak in favor, who happened to already have chickens, and 1 speak against it. Which the takeaway I got from that was that it wasn't that high of priority, but we run the risk that if we change the status quo in either direction, we're going to disturb that status quo and probably run, if we're not careful, run the risk of making a problem of our own choosing.
Scott, any thoughts on the matter?
Currently, you cannot have chickens.
Currently, yes, chickens are prohibited.
So if somebody has chickens, they're breaking the ordinance, right?
Correct, that's a violation of the ordinance. I think what the motion is to allow chickens would be simply to change our prohibited animals ordinance and remove domestic fowl from it, is what you're proposing.
If I could just, I wouldn't go that far. I would just simply say chickens. Domestic fowl is a lot of different ones. That's not even before us.
Well,
But, I'm
domestic
just
fowl
talking
is
chickens.
basically chickens. That's
Ducks,
what,
geese.
those are actually
Wildfowl.
considered wildfowl.
Yeah.
It's a legalese
but-
term.
Yes.
So I would just say, I would agree with, I wouldn't just say that you want to have them without any type of regulation. If you don't like what I put in there, that's fine, but you need to have, I think, some guidelines on it, because otherwise, if you just allow them, they could have, there'd be no limits, there'd be nothing that would stop them from having anything, where the coops are technically and things like that. I think that would be, I don't have opinion, I don't make an opinion on to have them or not, but my opinion would be there needs to be some regulation on them to some extent.
As I understand it, we already have ordinances for set off on property. You can't build a garage or a coop or a shed within a certain distance of property. That still already exists. We already have nuisance ordinances. That already exists.
Yes, but we have, for like a shed, a chicken coop is different than a shed, a pen is different than a shed. How you would build it, would it be fully enclosed? Do you allow free range? Do you allow free range chickens? Because that would open up free range chickens just out in the backyard without anything. So it might even possibly allow roosters too.
It would.
Okay, well, then I think that, I think you have to have some
Yes.
regulations on
Agreed.
that, but that would just be, from my standpoint, it would be very hard to enforce, because if you just allow anything, the only thing you're gonna be able to stop them with is potentially, nuisance types things, but those are extreme.
As I've said before, I've lived next to chickens. I'd rather have a chicken than a dog. I'd rather have a chicken than a kid. Catch one wild. What's the magic about chickens?
And just to add to that, so our current ordinance, no chickens are allowed, and if you look at it, it's a very small, doesn't define anything, because we don't allow chickens. So to say we're gonna allow chickens now with no ordinance, it's basically a free-for-all, right? And that's not, to the point is, people can sell chickens, people can slaughter chickens, that's not
No.
we have to have ordinances governing,
Right.
chickens, what can and can't be done, sales, slaughters.
And I would say, I know it looks like it's 4 pages worth, but for the most part, half of this is just boilerplate that has to be in when you're doing an ordinance. The actual ordinance is about 1.5 pages, and 1/4 of that or more is talking about getting a permit for it and processing it. So the actual regulations of it are not that much. They're everything we talked about at the workshop and the points. So
Right.
That's why I'm not trying to, I don't want to say everyone, read it right now, because you go through it, I don't think it's as extensive or as burdensome as it seemed like 4 pages were. But
Well, I still think it's fair that council gets to take this home for the next 2 weeks and review it anyway, so.
Agreed.
Yeah, and just a question on what you mentioned earlier. So we could put our comments on the site, and then we would look at the comments, and then those comments would be implemented into the ordinance, or we would look at the comments to see which ones need to be in the ordinance. So what's your thoughts on that?
That's part of the difficulty of it is, certain comments, yes. The number of chickens, that would be something simple. I put in 4 because I needed a number, and that was roughly around what, some of the other cities had proposed. To change that number, simple. Comments about noise and stuff like that, those would be very difficult to incorporate. We already have noise ordinances, but I think the fact is like I said, I'm not a chicken expert, but I don't know how you stop chickens from making noise if they do make noise.
Yeah.
So I didn't know how to write something in here that they're violating some type of noise, something other than you have to understand potentially chickens will make noise. Dogs will bark,
Sure.
There's gonna be noise, and possibly then all we have is the noise ordinance if it's excessive or a nuisance or something like that. So I know we talked about some of those things, but there isn't really a way to incorporate it. But what I thought is, I can keep making these drafts and sending them around. But, I don't know exactly what, if you have a comment, that's fine, but I don't know if the entire council, if that's gonna change it or what. So it may be at some point you have to talk about that and get a consensus on what you want in there, so it could be voted on at some point. But yeah, I'll take any comments that you have, or it's not really many comments, it's actually more a directive of what you want me to change.
Right. No, I was just trying to get a time frame around. So if we open it up for, say, 2 weeks of public comment, right, at the website, I wouldn't expect that when it closes at the next council, we're going to have the opportunity to go through the comments. So I still think there's more time needed. I guess that's what I'm thinking, right?
I would agree. I think that's why I wanted to put something out there that people could actually see what was being proposed versus, you can go with chickens or no chickens as a simple thing. But I think to have the ordinance, what you need or what you don't like, maybe you see something in there that I don't think we need this section, or that's too much. We could propose taking that out, or, you could, I guess at any time you could make a motion to approve the ordinance with X change or something like that. And then I can make the change, we can, do the publication, the first reading, and go through it in that manner. They don't get enacted the day that you bring it up and do it anyways. It has to be published. That's why we have a first and second reading. So the first reading is to kind of open it up and let people see and make comments on it. And then really at the second reading, after the publication and the times have elapsed, to actually enact it.
Yes. Yeah, and just one final comment for me is I'm thinking that if it's rolled out, it should be more conservative to start, because if we just make it free reign, it's hard to pull something back if it gets too out of control, right? So if we start with on the conservative side, this is just my opinion, right?
I agree.
And as time passes, we learn more, then we could open up the reins, so to speak. That's just my opinion. Versus open up the reins and trying to pull it back once it's out. It's
Right.
very difficult if the ball's rolling that fast, right? That's just my opinion.
Yeah, it is a lot easier to loosen up things than it is to try to close Pandora's box once you've already opened it.
Yes.
From a procedural standpoint, only from a procedural standpoint, I made a motion, it's been seconded. I would hope for and expect a vote.
Okay.
Yes.
That's
Well,
one
We're in
issue.
the
I
debate.
know which way it's going to go.
Yeah.
Matter of principle. The second issue, once we decide we don't want my proposal, is, okay, now what do we want? And James has given us the list.
Yeah.
I would hope at a future meeting that we would go piece by piece. Number one, do we want it or not? Number two, do we want it or not?
Maybe a workshop.
I don't know. I would personally, and if I were running it, and I'm not, I would just simply have it at a council meeting with a showing of hands for each item and then a total vote.
Yeah,
But
I don't
that's
think there's
just
a
my
workshop
thought
needed,
procedure
yeah.
for the future.
Yeah.
So you would say, okay, A, who wants this?
Who wants to put
Take
your
an
hands
example.
over?
B,
Or
who
with a
wants
couple
this?
comments.
Yeah.
Now, contrary, and this gets more into the second procedure, what we will or will not do among the various.
Right.
I would go just the opposite of Jesse and Rick. And the word conservative, of course, is always an interesting one. I would say, let's start conservative with a minimum of what we think is absolutely necessary if we see a problem at. I find in the government it's very hard to take away after you put it in, but that's a different view we can talk about in the future when we start talking about what ones we really want, which ones you all want. 'Cause
Yeah, I agree with you. It more often than not, the government does not come back and say, well, we've been too strict, we're gonna loosen this up. So I think we should start with the minimum, as Councilman Slavin had recommended, but that will be something we address at the next meeting.
Meeting or a workshop maybe.
I would like it on the record. We
That-
don't do it in
That's
meetings.
fine. I mean, it can be done either way.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I just hope we have a lot of citizens here at that point.
I know.
I doubt it too, but I would love it.
I would throw out one thing. I know we talked about, and I know the state proposal had a minimum lot size.
Yes.
The reason I didn't put a minimum lot size in is because we kind of talked about, well, if I put a minimum lot size in, if you voted on, well, it had to be an acre, well, you eliminate almost
Everyone.
the entire city.
City.
So instead, I put offsets in there,
Mm-hmm.
which wouldn't do a lot size, but indirectly it would in a way. I mean, if your lot is too small, you can't meet the offsets. So I just throw that out there for when the comments come in, because there was something we contemplated, but again, it could be put in too. That would be easy to put in if that's something you want. So, I mean, maybe no sense sending me the comments and just compiling the comments and setting this for a specific, time at a council meeting that you think is sufficient, which may or may not be the next council meeting or the following council meeting, which would, give more like roughly 30 days.
Right.
And then we could go through it line item.
Go through line item to see which ones we feel should be in the ordinance. Not that we're voting on the ordinance itself, but items that could be included in the ordinance once the ordinance is either passed or.
I would say do both. Go which ones we want, and then once the package is together, let's vote on the package. That would be my suggestion.
I think you could kind of vote on it like that, and then we'd still have to put an ordinance together that would be presented for final approval in the first reading. So it wouldn't necessarily be enacted at that time, but I think the vote then it would be a simpler vote once we got to that point.
Yeah.
For basically a final approval of it. So.
Or if you guys want anything added or, to this or deleted, whatever.
Okay.
or even a final, kind of a vote at the end of whether you want to approve it under these specific changes or, proposed, sections, subsections.
So is it council's desire to post this on Facebook and get these comments?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, make the motion to do that.
Well,
Well, there is
before we
a
do that,
motion.
there's
There
already
is a
was already
motion.
on the table.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
And we'll go to
already-
that after, but
Okay.
That would
Yes.
have-
I'm just kind of
There's
getting
a
some
motion
talk.
that has-
Yeah,
We'll
yeah.
vote on that first and then we'll go. But is there any more talk on this or can we take a vote?
Nope, let's take a vote.
Okay.
Johnson,
No.
Crampton,
No.
Merkier,
No.
Cox,
No.
Griswold,
Yes.
Robertson,
No.
Slavin.
Yes.
Okay, the vote did not pass. So I would ask for a motion
To put this
For
on the
city
public.
administrator to post this on the Facebook
I'll second
site so
that.
we can, if you
Motion,
want.
motion
Oh.
to put this on Facebook, have the administrator put this on Facebook for our citizens to take their vote and comments on it.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Griswold,
Yes.
Robertson,
Yes.
Crampton,
Yes.
Merkier,
Yes.
Cox,
Yes.
Slavin,
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Okay. We'll have her post that then and see if we get the comments, okay? Okay. I think we're good with chickens tonight.
Do we want to set a time?
Oh.
I guess.
You want
To
to,
have it?
You mean to have
wanna-
a talk over this, the workshop thing?
Yeah, I
or
mean, you
the
want
mo-
to
meeting?
just set it for the next meeting, or you want to set it for the second meeting of next month, which,
Second
give a
meeting.
little bit more reasonable time.
I would say the second meeting.
Second meeting.
so it'd be the 18th, February 18th.
The next meeting is,
That's the 4th. Yeah, next meeting's the 4th and then that would be the 18th is what you're looking at.
okay,
for
yeah,
chickens.
that works.
I don't know if we actually need a motion on that, but that'll just be on the agenda.
Vicky will add it to the agenda and we'll just make sure it's added. Chicken talk, the 18th. All right.
Well, it's good. Do we need?
Once again.
Oh, actually, we have a motion on the floor already. Yeah.
For what?
Or no, we just finished.
No,
I was
we're
gonna
good.
say-
There's no motion.
Yep, you're right.
So,
All right.
okay, we good?
We're good.
Yeah, good.
Okay. The only update I have again is we need somebody for border review. I know I mentioned it several times. It's on the website. If you know anybody, please come to City Hall. I don't really have any other updates. So with that, we will move on to old business. Mr. Slavin, do you have any old business? Mr. Crampton?
No, thank you.
Mrs.
No.
Mercier? Mrs. Griswold?
No.
Mr.
No.
Okay. On to new business, Mr. Slavin, any new business? Mr. Crampton, any new business?
No.
Mrs. Griswold? New
Yeah, I have
business?
a couple items.
Okay.
There was an article published from the Mackinac Center for Public Policy talking about 3 ways to rebuild America's trust in government. It was actually republished from a time in December, but I wanted to talk briefly about this and then make a motion based on what this article was suggesting of local government. So every year I make a practice to publish my end of year pay stub, both on my personal webpage and then also on my social media accounts, because I believe transparent compensation practices directly strengthen public trust, which is what this article is talking about. It said the Pew Research Center says that 17% of Americans have lost trust in the government. Or I'm sorry, only 17% of Americans believe the government is trustworthy. Trust is not automatic. It's earned through consistent openness. Even when nothing improper is occurring, a lack of accessible information can unintentionally create suspicion or erode confidence. By proactively sharing salary data from all elected and appointed officials, the council can prevent misunderstandings before they arise and demonstrate a clear commitment to accountability. A surplus of trust, as this article mentions, has a meaningful benefit for the entire community. When citizens believe their government is fully transparent or working towards that, they are more likely to participate in civic processes, less likely to assume wrongdoing, more inclined to accept difficult or complex policy decisions like chickens. Increased accessibility to basic information such as salary data can reduce tension, encourage respectful dialogue, and strengthen the bond between residents and their local government. Publishing this type of information is a simple step with a powerful impact. Formalizing the practice of public disclosure of salaries reinforces the commitment to openness, responsibility, and public confidence. So I'd like to make a motion and then discuss the public disclosure of all elected and appointed official salaries, either on the municipality's webpage or through established public transparency platforms, such as there are many, but one listed would be govsalaries.com.
Second.
I have a question actually about that, because it's a little unclear on terms of what the meaning of salary and pay is there.
Mm-hmm.
Is that it's just talking about what the government pays every official, or does this also mean, for instance, everyone's private lives? Because there's a big difference, because a lot of, especially at the federal level, anybody who is elected or appointed, nominally all their pay is supposed to be coming from what they're getting for their elected position.
Mhm.
But then you have a lot of, for instance, very part-time positions.
All that money is still from taxpayer dollars.
Well, I meant as in like, for instance, that all of us up here is like the money we get for being paid to be on council or our other positions. That is only a small fraction of what we're actually earning, and we're earning it from
I see what you're
other
saying.
unrelated jobs.
Correct. I'm only specifically talking about the money that comes from the taxpayers as related to our positions
Our
here
public duties.
in the city of Rockwood, correct?
Okay.
So any money that Rockwood gives us.
That's correct.
on-
And that would be a year-to-date, because that looks different every year for council members, whether we have workshops, and same for
Yes.
appointed people as well.
And I'd like to point out that is public information already. It's available. Anybody can walk into City Hall and get that information if they want. It's already public information.
Well, yes and no. I'd like to make the point that, again, those things change. It is listed on the budget, but that is not the accurate reflection of the year-to-date for a lot of positions. I can't say exactly which ones, but for instance, ours, like I just mentioned, we have different amounts of workshops. So we are not getting paid the exact amount every year. Yes, you can FOIA it, but like I just mentioned, I think that we need to move towards transparency. I campaigned on that, Troy campaigned on that, and I stick with that. And I think that this is a movement in the right direction when we say, hey, we're not going to give you the council packets, but we will give you our pay, because you deserve to know that, without having to pay fees or to do any additional work. I think it should just be made available. Many other cities are already doing this practice, and I would love to see that implemented in Rockwood.
Okay, so you mean it's a slightly different data, so it's like anybody can technically ask to say, okay, how much does the council or how much does the mayor get paid, future tense?
Correct.
But this would also cover a past tense to reflect variances, such as namely the per diem for the number of meetings. So for instance, as one bit, if we have a workshop and it's not held too close to an existing meeting, that counts as a separate meeting in terms of getting a separate per diem. So that is one example of what can
Yes.
alter it. And the citizens should see this.
Yes.
And as Troy points out, it's already public information. This is just means they don't have to look too hard to get it.
It is.
On the city page, put the page, this is the money that's paid last year to all.
Yeah.
It's public information, and it's like Marcy said, it's it could be available on many websites, but I guess, and I don't have an issue with it. Come ask me what I make it. You can. I have no issue with it, but what I do take issue is of the word that you keep using of transparency, because we've done nothing but be transparent on this council and this city, and we continue to be transparent But the implications of that we're not being transparent just because we're not posting something on our website bothers me, because
No, I don't think that's what, I hope that's not what you said.
I mean,
That's certainly not what
I
I said.
agree.
I agree
because
with
we
that.
are
I don't even
being
know what the word
transparent,
means.
and how would I know who wants to know about our,
I don't think
unless
that-
somebody comes and asks me what our salaries are,
I
you know?
disagree. That's not my intention. That's not what I said.
I'm
and
not
that's
saying that's
not
what you said, but I've
that's
heard
not-
you use the word transparency
Yes.
several months in a
Yes.
row now in different.
Every meeting I'll use it if I need to.
Well, you use it in
And-
social media posts for different things too, reference the city, and we are doing nothing but being transparent. And I just don't like the implication that we're not being transparent.
Sure.
I agree.
You know.
I'm
Well-
hoping that's not implied, because certainly wouldn't be implied by me. It's just an easier way for people to grab.
Sure, I have no problem. They can
I don't have a
look
problem
at
with
my
that
pay
either.
stubs. You know.
I don't,
Yeah.
I agree
But-
with what Troy's saying.
We've gone out of our way to be transparent in the last couple of years here, and I think that anybody that's been in this city knows that there was holdups in the past going on here, and we've gone out of our way to try to change that whole thing. So I just want to make that known that this city, we do everything we can to be transparent. So I just want to hit that home hard.
I agree. 100%.
So you had a motion to put on the.
Yes,
okay.
and it was seconded.
You have
Go
something
ahead.
to say?
Can we get more specific directive on how this is going, what this is going to look like?
Sure.
Well, yeah.
I think
My
What,
thoughts would be, it would be like W-2 information, as opposed to something that we're post-standing, that would be very time consuming to try to post
Okay.
every pay period or something
Right.
like that.
Oh, no,
So-
just year to date, W-2, something of that
Well-
nature, yes.
Right, you say year to date, what year to date? Like year to date fiscally, like.
Because
for
she's
our-
pulling the
for our
records.
Fiscal year or per.
Per W-2, yes.
So to
per-
say, like right now,
Mhm.
2025 W-2s are not available. So
Correct.
the information would be 2024
Yes.
W-2.
Yes.
So, and then also how the information, either if we're looking at a specific website or the city website, just kind of some directive on what council, how they wanna see that laid out, so that I know what direction to go in.
Yeah, I think it, nothing complicated, a page of it listed, or if that is too complicated, again, I know you've made the direction to look into the govsalaries.com. That's seeming more than difficult. I've reached out twice. I've gotten no response. And so I'm not sure how that data has been published, because it is up to date every year. So if you take a look at a teacher's salary, the 2024s are available on that website, but they're just not being responsive. So I don't know how they're collecting that data. I've asked multiple times. So I think the best way to do that, since we're not getting a response, would just be a simple page, maybe on our website, that just says set under government salaries, and that is updated with the W-2 information.
If it were me, I just simply list all the people on a piece of paper, put the numbers there, put it up on the city website. You can push a button saying, Rob Buck salaries, push a button and see the whole list. That would be the way I would do it.
Yeah, I think the point is to have that information available. So I agree with you. I don't think it needs to be anything complicated as far as a platform for that.
Just, would it be like just an annual? Like
Yes.
an annual
Mhm.
posting of all
Yes.
the appointed, like payments made? Because I'm not a W-2 employee, just for example.
Sure.
I would be like a 1099. but
Okay.
I would think you could run a report of basically just all payments made to, if you're asking for all elected and appointed
Yes.
officials,
Mhm.
their name, their position, and how much is paid, which I think is all public information. Ultimately, just maybe not compiled necessarily in one spot for an annual
So that would be
statement of it.
any employee receiving a W from the city, is that?
Elected or appointed only. So, I mean, so like the police officers that I mean, they would not qualify for that, if I understand correctly.
Well, that's what I'm asking for clarification.
Yes, elected
the
and
chief
appointed.
would.
Yes.
He's appointed, right? Elected or appointed.
And we only approve the other hirings.
Correct.
Just so I'm all for the, it's public information already. The only concern I have is the additional work needed to do these tasks. I mean, they seem minuscule, but we're a small city, and we really got to be careful about what we're asking the city officials to do. employees to do. You know, they have day-to-day jobs. The city has to function as a city. So it's nice if it's workable, as long as it doesn't affect their day-to-day functions. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, it's one of the curious spots where we run into two competing but both noble ideals in government, where we have, should the government be transparent? Obviously, yes. Should the government try to avoid frivolous spending or being wasteful? Yes. And then we get to the point of where, well, it does raise questions of where do we draw a line there to decide what side we're going to err upon, because the one thing's for certain is if you have those two things, you're going to find people who will disagree on that.
I agree with you, Rick. As long as it doesn't have a lot of work
Yeah.
for you guys, it's not a big deal, right? To put it out there, because I'm not hiding anything.
Yeah.
I don't think any of us are.
No.
So if it's not a lot of work, put it on there.
On the Go Sales is every single employee of the city. That's why I was asking.
Right. No,
Correct.
just
I'm not
appointed.
asking for that.
From the council all the way down through, you know, community center workers and people that are very part
I'm
of
not,
election
right,
workers,
correct.
which is a easier list to compile than to separating out, trying to grab only bits and pieces.
So it's
Sure.
already on there?
For clarification.
It's already on?
No, it's not.
No,
No.
it's the easier list to compile though.
Okay.
But either way, just clarification.
I think we have a second.
We
If there
do.
was any other discussion. Did I give you the clarification that you needed?
If that's the motion,
Yes.
then
Okay.
Yeah.
Cox,
Yes.
Slavin,
Yes.
Crampton,
Yes.
Mercure,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Griswold,
Yes.
Robertson.
Yes.
My next item of new business was, I just wanted to let the public know I'll be having my office hours February 4th from 5:30 to 6:30 at the Huron River Inn. And then I have great, exciting news. Rockwood Beautiful, the beautification committee, is under new leadership, and they are going to be having a quarterly meeting as opposed to a monthly meeting. And the first of the year meeting will be January 29th at 6 p.m. in the community room. That's on the second floor of this building of City Hall. And that was it.
Who's the new leadership?
Morgan Horvath. There was she did an introduction and a post on the page there. She was someone we interviewed for a council position.
I know.
And she did say, you know, I really want to be involved in the city. She's very excited about this. So I think it's a
Okay.
great fit for her.
Yeah.
And you said
That'll
what
be
time?
nice.
That's at 6 p.m.
The 29th?
Yes.
All right. Anything else?
That's it.
All right. Mr. Robertson, do you have any new business?
I do not.
Mr. Johnson, any new business?
No, sir.
Okay, I would ask for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
Support.
Crampton,
Yes.
Cox,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Robertson,
Yes.
Griswold,
Yes.
Slavin, Mercure.
Yes.
Okay, meeting is adjourned.